Taylor Swift is the Labubu Dubai chocolate matcha latte of singers. To me, she has always been a sort of sentient, blonde, floating wig. I am but a simple woman. I see that her album has been released, and I, like any clout-hungry goblin, I'm gonna hop onto the trend and actually react to her album, single by single, raw. Now, to be fair, I'm actually going to try my best to be unbiased here, okay? Because this is the thing, Taylor Swift is so polarizing, which is shocking because she's fundamentally such a banal human being. She is a vanilla ice cream without the little black dots, not the bean, on a cone, the kind that you get like at a carnival, that you go with on the weekends because that's when your dad has custody. Matter of fact, she's so polarizing. She's such a walking op-ed, girl boss, feminism, capitalism, decadence, NFL. What's another buzzword? Ooh, snickerdoodle cookie. She is so polarizing and practically worshipped. I'm saying from like an anthropological standpoint. What her fans do to her might actually constitute as actual worship. And being almost 6 feet tall, she might be the tallest deity, period. And on the other end, she represents how concerning and somewhat disturbing people's parasocial relationships with celebrity figures can be, the ultimate symbol of a girl boss of feminism and Western decadence. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna hold that against Tay-Tay, okay? And not just because I'm kind of scared of her fan base. Physically speaking, could I take them? Probably. Many of them look like they have hollow bones, like little birds. But I am scared of what they can do as a collective. I would say that, but like, let's be real. What can they take from me? I have nothing but fairly decent skin. Don't get too close. The environmental critiques of her using her private plane, you know, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I drive directly to the sea to pollute. Okay, I dump all my plastic there. Matter of fact, I wade into the waters and I dump my plastic straws in there. I'm aiming for the turtles. She has a hustle and a bloodthirst that I kind of, I'm not gonna lie, on some perverse level, I kind of admire. You know, she's the kind of woman who looks like she has a dungeon in her house, and there's a lot of like Abu Ghraib black site stuff going on there. If Taylor Swift turned out to be a CIA asset, would that not be like genuinely hilarious? I'm getting off topic. I have not listened to this album in full. I've listened to some of her songs. I'm not familiar with her entire discography. I mean, I've drunkenly sang our song at karaoke like any true American. But I'm gonna listen to her in the manner that all music should be listened to, wearing disgustingly oversized earphones, alone, in my room that is covered in miscellaneous crumbs and stale farts. Actually, I'm not alone. I've got Donovan, and I've got Clementine over here. What was that? God, Clementine. Stop. We're on camera. This is why I beat her. Well, I'm a grown woman and I have 2 small little stuffed animals. I might actually be a Taylor Swift fan all along. All right, let's listen to the first track, The Fate of Ophelia. You set my heart to find a friend, I dance, oh yeah. I found my da-da-da-da-da, literary reference Ophelia. But da-da-da-da-da, Manadam Hamlet, yes, Shakespeare, I've read it. Wa-da-da-da-da-da, high school lit class Ophelia. I didn't hate that. Melody-wise, it's simple production. Listen, I'm not a music critic, but I understand when people say that like the production of something is fairly simple. I get it. Simple is not bad. Listen, this is the thing about a Taylor Swift. You can tell she writes her own music. I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing. The Fate of Ophelia, I'm just talking about Travis Kelce saving her from the Fate of Ophelia, which is like a weird kind of misunderstanding because Ophelia was a manic depressive and also like the guy she liked kind of murked her dad. I've had the feeling that Taylor Swift saw that painting, like that very famous painting of Ophelia after she, let's just say she Epsteined herself, allegedly, and is like floating. It's very ethereal, it's very beautiful, it's very asexual, dare I say. I don't even know what that means. I think she saw that and was inspired by it more than the actual play Hamlet. Does that make any sense? It's very surface level, which I don't hate, but it's weird to have like references to that story sprinkled in with like what it's poetry that I imagine someone in high school would write, and then you'd read it and you'd be like, this is pretty good for like a high school student, but she's in her 30s, so I don't know. It's kind of a little bop. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I wasn't swaying. Like, Saddam Hussein, okay, his corpse could make a song, and if it was a bop, I can't say that my hips are not gonna sway. I can't say that my finger is not gonna wag. Lyrically, It's okay. Listen, I'm not gonna be a hater for the sake of being a hater. I think the melody is fine. There's a lot of references. This is the first track, and off the bat I can tell there's gonna be a lot of references to Travis Kelce and what a saving influence he has been. I don't ever wish for the demise of a person's relationship, okay, so I'm not saying that. However, if they do break up, she's gonna go right back to doing country. For at least one album, because she knows it's trending again, and if it's a breakup album, oh, she's gonna go carry Underwood before he cheats. I'm calling it. I'm calling it right now. Let's move on to number 2, Elizabeth Taylor, which I assume is about making your own perfume and gaining weight. I'm starting to feel like Elizabeth Taylor, Taylor, Taylor. Oh, kind of get it, 'cause her name's also Taylor. I'm starting to feel like Elizabeth Taylor, Taylor. I'm not entirely sure if that was the best rendition of the song. However, okay, I'm starting to get, she's very literal, and at a certain point, I feel like, I don't know if she thinks her fans are dumb or simple, because the metaphors are so straightforward, like and she beats you over the head with it. Production-wise, it's very floaty. There's like a little bit of bass in the chorus, which is kind of, it's a little nice. It feels like when you put your head up against a speaker. Then it gets a little dreamy towards, I think it's the bridge, I believe. You know what I mean? I'm not a music critic, but you know what I'm a woman of the people, okay? I put my glasses on one eye at a time. I do like the dreamy part, you know, because it kind of feels like you're slightly lobotomized, or like you're slowly coming off the laughing gas at the dentist, which sometimes I ask for, even if, you know, I don't really need it. And my dentist says yes. And you know what that means? You know, 5 stars on Yelp. I understand that the parallels that she's making. I mean, Elizabeth Taylor, old Hollywood glamour. Same with Ophelia. I feel like there's a tendency for songwriters like this. Lana Del Rey does this as well. And I feel like this is her influence kind of rubbing off. I don't know. They made an album together and assumedly probably did like ayahuasca in the woods, which I can't even imagine the conversation, you know, that would have come out of that trip. But there seems to be this fascination with like willowy, sort of historical or literary feminine figures. I mean, I'm more sympathetic perhaps to Ophelia because she was fictional but living during a time where there weren't even like talkies. Like, you know, I would have thrown myself in a river too. Elizabeth Taylor, figure of old Hollywood glamour, became infamous for like her 8 marriages and affairs. I get the parallels that she's making, that Taylor Swift was considered the Madonna in her youth and then eventually became considered the whore. I get it. It's not particularly complex. I don't hate it though. I don't hate it. I find it, dare I say, inoffensive? Inoffensive. Let's move on. Opalite? Opalite. Gosh, I know y'all are gonna come for me in the comment section if I mispronounce that. I'm okay with it. Opalite, the dancing through the thunder strike. Da 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 da. You're dancing through a lightning right. Yeah, opalite. Da 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 da. Wow. Can you believe I don't have a career in the music industry? I mean, that cover was almost identical. The production of this, I feel, is definitely inspired in part by Sabrina Carpenter's like 70s retro. It's less hormonal, I will say, because this is a song lyrically I don't mind as much. I mean, she's talking about how she's, you know, used to be kind of obsessed to overthink about her exes, and she's sort of moving on from that. There is a reference that I think might have been a diss towards one of Travis Kelce's, the football man. I'm gonna call him the football man. That's how, oh my gosh, that sounds like a Midwestern cryptid. That is a reference to one of his exes, I think, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't like, it could be a subtle jab, and if that's the case, Tay-Tay, listen, if you're gonna come for an ex, your man's ex, use a crowbar. You know, I'm scared. Taylor Swift, I think realistically, she's gotten a bit more muscle on her, she's gotten a little sturdier. I feel like she could realistically, she might be able to curb stomp somebody. But his ex, realistically, I don't know, she's an IG baddie, but she could be like from the Bronx. And those girls keep like razor blades in their hair. They wanted to do a showdown for charity. I donate money. I like this. The production of this is very, again, Sabrina Carpenter-esque. Even though I would say Taylor's kind of on the opposite end. In this, like, Taylor Swift, I mean, physically speaking, kind of looks like if you took Sabrina Carpenter and you, like, extended her. But Sabrina Carpenter is, like, tiny and talking about, like, truly getting pounded out. I'm like, oh my goodness. oh my goodness. I mean, there's innuendo, but my goodness. And Taylor Swift is kind of the exact opposite in the sense that she normally sings music that like Mormons would hold hands to. So this production with those lyrics that are fairly innocent is kind of jarring. I actually like this one. I'm gonna say it. Once again, I don't care, okay? I don't care that I'm going against. Look at me. I kind of like a Taylor Swift song. I'm the bravest person on the internet right now. Let's move on to Father Figure. I don't know if I'm gonna like what's coming up.
I'll be your father figure. I'll drink that brown liquor. I'll make a deal with the devil, 'cause my weenie's bigger. I'll be your father figure. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. To reference the Godfather.
Okay, once again, things are very straightforward with this woman. I'm still reeling back because I know Taylor Swift has sworn before. Like, there's no way she hasn't. But it's so jarring. It's hearing her say the line, because my wiener is bigger. I don't want to have to censor anything out. It's so, hearing her swear in that way it feels unnatural. Like, it's like finding out like a Muppet has genitalia. Why? I mean, she's playing this sort of patriarchal figure that's very much like, you know, the Corleones in The Godfather. Kind of an alter ego of sorts, and she's the head of the family. This is, I think, the part of the album that's tapping into her, like, I'm a bad girl. You don't know what I've done. You don't know where I've been. But there's not any bite. You know what I mean? It's so strange because she has to be quite a ruthless person in the business industry, which is like, you can't survive if you weren't like that. You know, I'm not necessarily holding that against her. Yet when she tries to be intimidating, it just does. It's like, girl, I just want to like, bing. You know what I mean? I just want to like tap her on the forehead and watch her like topple over like a porcelain doll. I don't know how to, I don't mind cringe. I don't mind cringe. I am cringe. I bathe in it. I was born in it, molded by it. I don't mind the cringiness itself, but it's like, it's not giving what it's supposed to give. And I think that it inspires a fan base of people, none of whom are intimidating, to feel like they can be. And I feel like some of them are going to end up getting into physical altercations they're not going to be able to get out of unscathed. And I might have to blame that on Taylor Swift. Let's move on. Eldest Daughter.
'Cause I'm not a bad bee, and this isn't savage. I'm never gonna leave you now. Never gonna leave you now. Every eldest daughter, it's like a lamb to the slaughter. So we dressed up as wolves and it was fire. Da 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 da. Marriage.
Okay, here's the thing. I can't knock vulnerability, right? So I think her being open, which I mean, she's obviously prone to do, that's kind of whatever shticks. I like the lines about, you know, I said I didn't believe in marriage, that was a lie. I think, this is the thing. I know a lot of the Swifties who are eldest daughters, especially eldest daughters in immigrant families. Whoa. Which, can't relate, I was the youngest. Can't you tell from how insufferable I am? But I can tell that a lot of them are going to tap into this, okay? And here's the thing, once again, if someone resonates with this, I can't knock it. Again, I don't like being a hater for the sake of being a hater. I think that's annoying. Some of the uses of modern slang in this are very awkward. I don't know. I mean, the line about like, the eldest daughter's first the slaughter, which it's like, that is sort of undercut with the next line being, so we dressed up as wolves and it was fire. Why? I mean, I think that's the problem, is that the sincerity of it is just undercut by how silly some of the lines are and the sort of lyrical, spiritual miracle rhyming scheme that she has. I mean, there's portions of it that, I mean, truly feel like they were ripped directly out of her diary, which is not necessarily that bad. I would love to look at Taylor Swift's journal. Oh my gosh, you know how juicy that would be? Her Her penmanship is probably impeccable too. I feel like she would write in hieroglyphs, you know? There might be like a few ancient incantations in there or whatever. Some of the lines are very clearly taken directly from her journals, and the phrasing of it can be quite awkward. You know, sometimes lines just don't work. It's a bit confusing because I wouldn't go as far as to say that I thought Taylor Swift was some sort of lyrical genius. You know what I mean? You know, she's no Blueface. I mean, I can only aspire to have that level of wit. It's odd. It's almost like her lyrics, I think, were more coherent and better. Her phrasing was better, like, years ago. Even as a teenager, I would say. All right, let's move on. Ruin the friendship.
And it was not. Should've kissed you anyway. Should've kissed you anyway. The 50 Cent song was playing. It was probably in the club. Man, you knew this was straight from her diary. Should've kissed you anyway. And he's dead now. He is dead now. The guy in the song is dead now. And I think he was a real person. That was why I was laughing in my reaction.
I'm not gonna lie. I did not expect that. I shouldn't have laughed because I'm fairly certain this is about a real person. It's a little too personnel. It's a little too personal. This is what I mean when I say sometimes reading out of a diary, which I've done, okay, just to like family members, and also I would do that to a stranger. I would violate their privacy. It is like, did you need to tell people about this? Especially because, girl, aren't you engaged? Aren't you engaged? You got a man now. A fairly tall and muscular one that can grow a beard, that connects, you know what I mean? He looks corn-fed. He looks like he could survive a famine. Why? I mean, I understand that, like, Taylor Swift lingering on her exes is like a trope. This is legitimately bizarre. It's legitimately bizarre. Melodically, lovely song. The production of this, once again, it's a little hazy. It feels like, I don't know, you know, like when you eat food that's a little too spicy, and you kind of like, you tap into like a different wavelength, and you feel like, you know, you're, I don't know, an indigenous person that like licked a venomous toad, but like a diet version of that. It's sway music. It's long skirt music. And I don't mind that. I think her voice sounds lovely on it. I was swaying to it. Again, some of these songs are catchy, okay? Lyrically, when I heard her say, don't get pissed off in second period, I was like, girl, you're talking about high school? At your grown age, you're 35. You're 30-something. She's 30-something. And you're still lingering on this? And she says, like, well, I wish, and this is what I mean when I say that sometimes, like, there's details about this that are so specific that you can tell it's real, but they're mentioning, like, the 50 song was playing. Like, a song like this, which you would imagine, like, a hippie mom listening to, you don't think there's going to be a reference to 50 Cent. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, imagine listening to a song that kind of sounds like it would be sang by Stevie Nicks, and there's a reference to Limp Bizkit. You go, what? This took me out of it. So you can tell that it's based on a real story. And then apparently this is a person she was friends with, and it's pretty straightforward. She regrets not having taken that step, and now it's too late because he's dead. That's right. He's dead, and she went to the funeral. I can't, that girl, once again, this happened like 20-something years ago. If I was Travis, I'd be a little offended. I'd be a little, like, I get it. Lost love and regrets. Sometimes I feel like these artists are a little too open. I'm like, you're compromising your future relationship. Because if I was Travis, I'd be like, dang, you still hung up on this man? You didn't even date. You didn't even date and you're writing songs about him? I'd be a little angry. When I tackled those other football players. Is he a tackler? What is he? The snitch? I don't understand sports. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be a little angry if I was Travis. Let's just move on. I don't know. I feel, this is unrelated, but I feel like Taylor Swift can gallop. You know what I mean? Like on all fours. When I say that she feels like a horse girl, I mean like quite literally. I'm imagining her like galloping down a hallway. That was unrelated, but I wanted to give you guys that image. Let's move on. Actually romantic. I'm excited.
It's actually sweet. It's actually romantic. I think the song is about Charlie XCX. She really said, you're obsessed with me and you do cocaine, and I'm gonna expose you. It's actually sweet. It's actually romantic.
Okay, so that was petty. That was petty. I think that song's about Charlie XCX. Off the bat, she's just like, off the bat, she said, you do substances. You're on that white girl, okay? And you're obsessed with me. You know, I think Mariah Carey did it better. Also, because she was in drag as Eminem, and I think that was kind of funny. I mean, anything rival, you're a mom and pop, I'm a corporation, I'm a press conference, you're a conversation. Where is her Pulitzer? However, this is the thing. Once again, because I feel like Taylor Swift can tap into a level of pettiness. When people do call-outs like this, I'm not a fan of when musicians have beef that is this public, unless it is regarding an issue that was quite serious. That's why I'm gonna say it. Sometimes rap beef, I feel like a mother that's just like, can't you guys just duke it out and get along? Can't you have like a little tussle in the backyard? Do you need to whip out an Uzi? Do you need to whip out a Glock? Settle down. Your blood sugar is probably just low. But again, like if I thought Taylor Swift was actually gonna pull up on Charlie XCX, right, and break her kneecaps, I would take this seriously. Do you understand what I mean? But there's no bite. There's no bite. Like if they both fought, all they would do is like pull hair. All they would do is pull hair, right? I'm looking to see teeth getting knocked out. You know what I mean? Azalea Banks would know what she was doing. That's all I'm saying. Is that sometimes the attempt at being vicious, the attempt at being like, you talk about me all the time, I know you're obsessed with me, and your man is like, can we stop talking about anybody but her? You called me a boring Barbie. I feel like she heard that one line and she said, you know what, I'm heading right to the studio right now. She assumedly hopped onto the back of the football man, and he galloped his way downtown, and they went into that studio, and she cooked this up. Once again, do I hate pettiness? In principle, no, when done right. You know, I mean, again, no one's gonna get shot over this, which does make the stakes a lot lower, but also no one's really gonna get more than their feelings hurt. So it's the least interesting song. It's the shortest one, and this is how you know she was being petty. She tacked this on because she knew people were gonna hear this, and the pot was gonna get stirred. As much as she can talk about, you know, drama this and comments and people that and whatever, like I would say all of this to her face. I'd probably have to like stand on a crate to be eye to eye with her. But I would. I feel like this was, did it make sense to necessarily add this semi-villain song to this album? Thematically, weirdly enough, this might actually be one of the only songs that fits the life of a showgirl. There's like a bit of pettiness. A lot of the music here, I don't really understand why she would include this specific visual to accompany the album when it doesn't really match with most of the music here, you know? Anyway, moving on. Wish list. Ooh, a $sign as an S. Kesha's influence.
I just want you. Pop out your babies, have the whole neighborhood looking like you. Other people want BBLs and money and stuff, which is a weird thing to say because I'm literally a billionaire, but I just want you, yeah. A best friend who I think is hot, baby, you're on my wish list, yeah. And it just includes you.
Okay, here's the thing. You know, love is love. Ugh, I can't believe I'm quoting Lin-Manuel Miranda. I promise I'm not that much of a dweeb. But, you know, I'm glad that she's in love. This is the thing, is that I don't overconsume media, so I'm not, like, inundated with images of her and Football Man. So, like, I'm not sick of them. I can't really bring myself to hate on people who are in a relationship. Why? It's weird and bitter. I wish them nothing but the best. I've heard some people being like, this is Taylor Swift, she's in her trad wife MAGA era, and I'm like, well, because she wants kids, and I mean, living in a cul-de-sac, that's never gonna happen. That's the most unrealistic part of the song. I don't care. Let her want a family. That's not a bizarre desire. I do think, however, weirdly passive-aggressive lyrics when she's like, other people want BBL and want to be dragging a wagon, or they want like a cool trip to Ibiza, but that's not me, baby. All I want is you. and our future little kids, who I imagine are just like, imagine the body of a child, but like the full grown head of Travis Kelce. She's gonna have to push that out of her. God help that woman. And she says like, well, you know, I hope they get what they want though. And I'm like, girl, why are you being so passive aggressive? Hello? What is all this shade? Other people want stupid material things, but I just want my little football man throwing that pigskin. It's like, didn't you spend, I mean, a good amount of your life also chasing, you know, accomplishments and material possessions? And again, listen, I'm not gonna be the one, you know, that throws that much shade at you for wanting to be successful, but I'm just like, hold on, maybe hold off on the judgment a little bit, Taylor. It's fine melodically. It's like the songs are gradually getting less interesting to listen to. It's not my favorite. Let's move on to Wood. I'm so scared. I'm so scared because this is innuendo, isn't it? I'm preparing myself as if I'm about to enter a war zone. Redwood tree, his love was the key, the badoo-da-dee that opened my thighs. Da 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 da. The song is innuendo. Ma da 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 da. This is generally a very awkward thing to sing about. Na 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 da 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 da. Redwood tree. Okay. See, okay. You know when you're like, do we need to know about this? Do we need to know about this? Listen, I will say this. I genuinely don't like songs that are overly sensual. Male artists that sing about this it makes my skin crawl so much more because it's usually way more misogynistic and icky. I feel like I want to beat them with a stick, like an abuela, a chakla, actually, because that's boomerang action, right? Because then the weapon comes back to you. And you can assault them repeatedly, even if they're running away. So much talk about abuse. Okay, she likes Travis Kelce. I'm gonna respect him here and go by his full government name. For somebody who's clearly been intimate with people before, I don't know why she wrote this song like she was a virgin on her wedding night. I mean, his love was the key that opened my thighs? Did we need to hear that? Do you think Travis Kelce must have listened? He's heard music before, assumedly. I don't know why, whenever I think of him, I think of that, like, Chad meme where one of the descriptions says, has never heard a song, which just makes him sound like he's deaf, more than uncultured. But would you be comfortable if someone you were dating wrote a song like this about you? You know, maybe not your wood, but your cave, tunnel. I don't know if I would enjoy that. Melodically, again, this is the thing, melodically, I actually like this. It's like, if anything, it's the juxtaposition of the melody that I like, which is, again, it's a little bit more retro. She's taking a lot of inspiration from Sabrina. It's not as explicit, I guess, even though Sabrina does employ a lot of innuendo. Yet, as much as I'm not necessarily a fan of over-sensual songs, at least I buy it with Sabrina Carpenter. You know what I mean? Like, I buy that she's, like, genuinely enjoying herself. There's an awkwardness to this, but it's not particularly endearing. It's just, it's uncomfortable. You know what? Let's move on to the next song, Cancelled, ! I've heard snippets of this. Let's get into it.
Cancelled. I like my friends dripped in Gucci and in scandal. Da 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 da. Like my friends cancelled. At least you know who your real friends are, 'cause you've got matching scars. This song is about Blake Lively, I'm pretty sure, and the whole thing with Justin Baldoni. Oh yeah, baby, double standards, cancelled.
So, alright. I've heard snippets of this song. I understand what people mean when they say, there's something very like, oh, I like my friends, cancelled. Welcome to my dungeon of misfits, my island of misfit toys. Dare I say, I can show you how to get away with, anything. Like, there is that sort of quality to it. Here's the thing. There are snippets of this song I can understand. Like, I get the frustration with getting a lot of criticism for things in the past that most men would have gotten away with, okay. The problem is that considering that this song is most definitely in reference to Blake Lively, right? I'm assuming that's the friend that she likes, cancelled. Really sticking her neck out for her here. I know tidbits of that case. I've read the bizarre text messages between the two of them. I'm not gonna lie. I don't care. Like, at a certain point, there's only a finite amount of energy that I can give to celebrity drama. I don't care. I can't bring myself to care about any of these people. However, again, the whole, like, the fact that it's about that situation kind of takes away from the song. I don't know if this is a situation of someone being thoroughly victimized to the extent that it would warrant, like, an entire song written about it. I mean, the lyricism, I mean, I don't understand. It's almost like she's regressed as a songwriter, but then again, this is kind of how she wrote on Reputation. This is the thing. I think Taylor Swift is at her worst when she's trying to be edgy and she's trying to be bitter. She doesn't have that bite. You know what I mean? It kind of comes off like a mom trying to sass you or something like that. I think when she's singing about love, when she's singing about youth, when she's positive and singing about hope, and you can imagine her like running through a meadow, you know, or like a field of a dandelions, like that scene in Shrek. That is where I think she shines, in my personal opinion. I think that is where, like, in her heart of hearts, I don't know if she is, like, the bitterness does not suit her. It's very bizarre, and she seems very bothered, which is why this air of, like, I don't care, I'm embracing it, I'm in my villain era, and it's like, well, Taylor, I don't believe it. I don't buy that. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay to be bothered. You know what I mean? It's okay to be frustrated. But the alter ego with, like, the dark wig, the vampiness, I mean, it's given a party city. I don't know what to say. Up next, Honey.
And if anyone was calling me, honey, you was standing in the bathroom, white teeth saying that skirt don't fit. It me, and I cried all the way home. Da 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 da. But you can call me honey.
Okay, I don't think I did that song justice. However, I actually like this one. I like this one. This is short, it's sweet. See what I mean when I say, when she's singing about how much she loves Travis Kelce, when, you know, other people call her sweetheart, is always passive-aggressive, or when other people called her lovely or honey or whatever, there was something grimy about it. They wouldn't stay the night. They were always trying to criticize her, blah, 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 but when he does it, it's genuine, it's sweet. So she has a mind, you know, when he calls her these, you know, words of affection. That's nice. You know, I like seeing people happy. I like seeing people show affection towards each other. I think it's a very beautiful thing. This is probably my favorite song. So once again, I like this one. Okay, things are looking up. The final song is The Life of a Showgirl, featuring Sabrina Carpenter. I know she had her tiny little childlike fingers, not all over this album, but certainly an indirect inspiration. All right.
I said, hey, thank you for the lovely bouquet. This is the life of a showgirl, baby. They wanna see me die. Those other pop girlies, they wanna rip me to shreds. But I'm not gonna die, baby, 'cause I'm immortal. That's the life of a showgirl, baby, yeah.
Okay, you know, I think that's a good closer. It's a song that makes sense given the theme and the visuals and title of the album. Very interesting to... I mean, I get it. She's a veteran in this industry. She's been in it for, like, 2 decades at this point. And there's a lot of artists that want to see her get toppled so they can take her throne. I think that kind of works because it's not the central focus of the song. It's more like something that's referenced. I mean, as Drake said, you know, Taylor Swift is the only nigga that I'm scared of. So she's not wrong that she does have the music industry in a grip. This sort of the tired elegance of it all. It's almost like she saw the trailer for the Pam Anderson film, The Last Showgirl, and she was like, this is thematically interesting. In a way, she's jaded, but she ain't going down, baby. She's not leaving. And if she does, it's going to be on her own terms, baby. And you know what? She's got longevity in this industry, gained relevance actually over time, which is pretty rare. I can't knock her hustle. I can't knock her business acumen. Melodically, I like this. I think her voice and Sabrina Carpenter's meld very well, especially because, again, the production is very similar. So there's not like this jarring contrast. It's not like that Cher song that had a feature by Future, the rapper Future. I'm assuming the child support payments were just getting a little steep and he needed the check. Who knows? I like this song. Once again, if you're not a huge fan of Taylor, you're probably going to consider it corny, but I don't mind it. Once again, I am cringe. I don't have the most discerning taste. I didn't hate this song. I quite liked it. I think it did what it was supposed to do. I can understand her perspective, and I can sympathize with it. Generally speaking, this song has a good amount of misses. It has some songs that I liked, none that I would necessarily consider exceptional. It's not Taylor's best work. It's not very cohesive as an album, though do I think that it's getting a lot more hatred than is warranted? Shocker, like anything else on the internet. Valid criticism, especially, I understand the people making fun of the song canceled. Okay, understandable. As a collection, is the whole album as bad as its worst components? No, I wouldn't say so. Generally, I think the hatred is a bit hyperbolic. Maybe this is just the insufferable contrarian in me. Maybe it's because I'm trying to actually just be honest and I don't care if people disagree with me. It's okay. It's okay. I like the melodic direction that she's going in with the more 70s inspired songs. There is always a tendency to engage in very performative cruelty when it comes to reviews of projects and of people who are seen as fairly controversial. I'm not a Swiftie, but I can't in good conscience really say this is like the worst album that I've ever heard. There's components of it that are not great, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever felt every conceivable human emotion while listening to an album, so that's a novel experience. You know what? I will say this. It was memorable enough. A 5 out of 10. That's okay. Some of the songs I'd give it higher, some of the songs I'd give lower. You're averaging it out, I would say it's about a 5. I feel like I've disappointed the Taylor Swift fans and also the haters, but hey, what am I if not a fence sitter? And you know what? I'm comfortable on this fence. I stick by my opinions on this. Yeah, controversial opinion. Hot take. Some songs are kind of good and some songs are kind of bad. I know. Don't crucify me in the public square. I'm so brave for saying what I have said. Do you agree? Disagree? I've never done musical reviews before, and it's, I see why Fantano was bald. It's quite stressful. It's quite stressful. And now I'm going to go to bed. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me you love me. Tell me you hate me. Tell me anything you want in the comment section down below. What do you feel about this album? Do you think it's over? Do you like it? You can be honest. Do you like it? Do you hate it? You think it's okay? What do you think about Taylor Swift, generally speaking? What do you think her future ambitions are going to be? I'm kind of scared. I feel like she's going to go bionic. Can you imagine those bionic legs clobbering down the streets of Manhattan? Terrifying, but also intriguing. Anyway, you know, congrats to her and Travis Kelce. They're going to have a bunch of, like, really strong, sturdy-boned Aryan children. Thank you all for watching.